Hey guys, today I thought I would give you a little bit of a story about high school. And more so than just high school, but really about listening to yourself and your intuition and your body and your emotions. And what they're telling you. So I was just going through my pictures, like really old pictures, and I saw this little note, and I just posted it on Twitter, which is what gave me this idea. So I had a note from a friend. Well, she was a classmate, and this must have been in my sophomore year of high school. And I was taking like an English AP class, I think it was, like the more like advanced version of English. Don't know why, but I hated challenges. Back then I hated challenges. So on the days that I would go to school, okay, which was very few, I would accidentally fall asleep in English class, like literally every single day that I was there, which again was not that often, especially for the first half of the day. Second half of the day I would often go to school, but the first half of the day I would usually cut class and just go around the neighborhood and stuff like that, or just be at the school but not in class, like in the bathroom or something. I don't know, I just didn't like to go to school at all. But yeah, on the days that I would definitely I would knock out, like on accident. Like I didn't want to do this, like it was something that was involuntary, consciously involuntary. So I would literally be sitting there, you know, watching the teacher, and the next thing I know, like the bell is ringing and I'm like this on my desk, you know. And so I got like this note from a classmate, and she said, you look like you've been hit with sleeping powder, like Gloom off of Pokemon. And I thought that was just the sweetest thing. I know it's like, I don't think it's supposed to be sweet, but like I love Gloom, so it was sweet to me. Anyways, the reason I would knock out is because I was taking like these medications that the doctor would prescribe to me because of my like inability to fall asleep and wake up at a reasonable time. So I would fall asleep like really late because I couldn't sleep. Like it wasn't like something where I was like, I'm just gonna fall asleep at this time today. Like it wasn't like that. It was like I would try to sleep and then I just wouldn't be able to. So therefore, because of that, I wouldn't wake up on time. And anytime I would wake up, I would be completely uninterested in waking up. I'd be like, no, like I need my sleep, because sleep is very important to me. It's still like that to this day. If you try to wake me up before I'm ready, like it doesn't happen. It will not happen unless I am extremely motivated to get out of bed for some reason before I'm ready. Like I'm motivated to get out of bed every single day when I'm ready to get out of bed. If I'm not ready to get out of bed yet, I will not do it unless there's like a very good reason and like something I need to get up for that I really want to get to. So it's been like that my entire life. It has not changed no matter how hard I try. It's just not, that's just not me. So it was like that in high school, but of course when you're in high school you don't really have a choice. Like you have to get up, and if you basically, I don't know if any of you know this, and I don't know if it's changed at all since I was in high school, but if you don't go to high school, your parents can actually go to jail. And that's like a pretty big deal. So the fact that like I would not wake up in the morning, so I would basically like not physically get dragged out of bed, but like mentally get dragged out of bed and just like really reluctantly going, often late, but because it was so against my nature, I would get sick at school. So, and there wasn't anything physically wrong with me. Like I wasn't like technically ill, like I didn't have a stomach flu or anything like that. It was just like my nervous system caused me to kind of panic, and I would throw up at school, or like just get really nauseous or just really tired, and to the point where, or I would panic, have panic attacks, you know, stuff like that. It was to the point where like I had to go to the doctor and stuff, and like they were just like, you have like anxiety and depression and what, you know, whatever else, and they would prescribe me medications that would make me even more tired and more out of it. Like if they thought me being tired was bad, like the medication actually made me knock out in class, because it didn't actually change my sleep schedule. Like those medications didn't change anything other than knocking out in class. So I would do that like a lot, and I got in trouble for it actually. They were like, you can't be sleeping in class anymore. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. You know, like I don't realize when I'm doing it. Like it's not a conscious decision. It may be a subconscious decision because I don't really want to be there. All of that actually, in hindsight, like after going through all of that, like years and years and years of sleep issues and anxiety and depression and like physical symptoms of all those things, after years of going through that, I've realized that all of that was a subconscious decision on my part to create situations that would make it better for me to suit my own nature, because I recognize, and I know a lot of kids do this, whether you are 5 years old or 12 years old or a teenager, whatever. Like so many kids do this and they don't realize what's going on. But this is what I think anyways, is that we intrinsically know that, well, at least a lot of us, some of us react differently to the stimulus of conventional like schooling system. Some of us can adapt to it and change our nature to adapt to it, which is another problem altogether. But like some of us will not change our nature. Some of us will fight to keep our nature. Like if I wake up at a certain time, like I'm gonna keep waking up at a certain time. You can call me bad, you can call me like this or that, but like I know that I need my sleep, you know what I mean? And so I'm going to make it to where I don't have to go to school. So, and that's what I did, is that I physically got myself sick. And again, at the time, this was not a conscious decision. It was a subconscious decision, because I knew that the system of schooling wasn't working for me. It wasn't working for my sleep, especially my sleep, which was like top priority. And it still kind of is my top priority, if I'm being honest. And so you create a life that works for you. And the system that I was currently in at the time was not working for me. So I created a situation where I could get out of that. And that happened to be, for me, like my way of doing that was getting myself sick to the point where I could go to the doctor so that I have an excuse to not go to school, or to like have my teachers and the principals and the administration like look at me and say, you know, she has an issue and we need to help her. So it was kind of like my cry for help to like work with me. And so that's exactly what happened after some time. It took like 2 years of like real bad like illnesses and stuff like that. But after some time, I was actually able to get everyone on board to help me, and I requested homeschooling. I was like, I seriously think that, you know, with my history, like this would work for me, like going to homeschool, because I got 2 years of my high school life was straight F's. Like I went from an A, B student my whole life to, in high school, straight F's. Like really good attendance, good grades, I'm smart, whatever. I'm able-bodied, I don't know what to call it, but I was like a good student for a long time, and then suddenly I just fall off. So it was because it was like a cry for help to pay attention to me, you know what I mean? Like, pay attention, I'm getting sick over here, like I can't do this anymore, let's do something else. And homeschool was it, and I rocked it. Homeschooling was like, sure, because I could get my sleep, right? But that's literally all I wanted. So I finally got the sleep I needed after 2 years of straight F's. But what caused that, how do I say this? That caused me, the 2 years of straight F's caused me to go to college early. So my senior year of high school, when I finally, the last year of high school, how about that? The last year of high school, I got to get homeschool. It was like my dream, and I finally did that. But because of the 2 years of straight F's, they were like, yeah, you're not going to graduate on time unless you do like extra stuff. And in my homeschool, you could only take so many credits a year or semester. So I had to go to a different school, college, to get like elective credits and stuff. So I had to take a couple of classes in college while doing full-time a high school semester. So I had like 9 classes in my homeschool, and then like 2 or 3 classes in college, all at the same time in the same semester, so in a couple months span. Luckily, homeschool was a cinch. All it took was a little bit of time, not much effort, just a little bit of time. And college was fun, so there was that. So that was like, that's kind of like my high school experience. But mostly just to say that, especially if you are in some kind of like system that really doesn't work for you, and what I mean by really doesn't work for you is like it's literally like impinging upon like a top priority that you need, and you're not getting your needs met because the system does not allow the space for you to meet those needs. And to be fair, the schooling system and like a lot of other systems that we live by, especially in the United States, like it doesn't work all the time. Like, and if it does work for you, it's probably because you kind of like adapted to it and kind of changed a little bit of your needs and yourself or your nature or something. You're kind of going against your nature a little bit. Like that's really common and stuff, but a lot of people can kind of live that way for a long time, and some people are much too sensitive to live like that. And I know that I am one of those people I'm much too sensitive to be going against such a strong nature to sleep a certain way. And for me, it's probably one of my most important needs that I need to be met first. So if you're like that and you're like literally falling apart because you're going against your own nature in such a strong way, and you are suffering from like illnesses that you kind of popped up almost like out of nowhere, or you're going through like depression or anxiety or some kind of like mental illness where sometimes it can manifest as like physical symptoms as well, and you know intuitively that those physical symptoms are a result of what's going on in here. So if you're like that, it's gonna be okay. First and foremost, I really believe that. I think it's gonna be okay. And if you're like that, listen to what you're trying to do. Like, what are you trying to do with all of these symptoms? What are you trying to get? You know, what are you trying to tell your environment by speaking? Because even a 5-year-old who's acting out, let's say they're 5 or 6 and they're acting out, what are they trying to tell you by acting out? You know what I mean? Because clearly they're just trying to communicate with you in the only way that they know how, which is by getting your attention somehow. But why? You know, why is that 5-year-old trying to get your attention? What do they need from you? And sometimes that is the system that they're crying out to. And they're trying to get people to listen to them so that they can mold themselves into a different path, because this path isn't working for them, you know? And it's the same thing for teenagers, young adults, adults of all kinds. I think it's the same, very similar situations for anyone of any age, really, but especially as like a child or like a teenager. So that's definitely my experience. I just wanted to get that little story out there and just give you a little bit of insight about, you know, why we act out or why we experience like a shakeup in our life. It's not a bad thing necessarily. The shakeup moments and the shakeup years are like us just trying to like break free, and it's the only way that we know how, because that's really where our power lies, especially when you're very restricted, and you're the only thing that can really help you is getting other people in your environment to listen to you and help you work through these things. And your mechanism for that is sometimes can be various illnesses, mental illnesses, all sorts of things. And it's really trying to get your attention as well. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful for anyone, even if you've kind of already gone through that. Maybe you can look back and be like, huh, you know, maybe that's what I was doing. You know, so on a subconscious level, I really knew what I needed and I got what I needed, or maybe I didn't get what I needed, I don't know. But kind of look back in hindsight too and just, you know, ask yourself questions and ponder a little bit. But yeah, I've been talking for much too long, so I'm going to let you go. And I hope you enjoyed this little story time thing, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.